Mishkan was. And in charge of the Mishkan there was a kohen by the name of HaMelech, which literally means the brother of the king. But
He wasn't,
right? It's just a name. I'm supposed it's significant. Just like what was the name of the priest of Shalem? What was his name?
Of Shalem?
Shalem. When no, that was something else. No, something Melchizedek. Okay. HaMelech. Okay. So, and he was surprised that David's coming on his own. David came on his own with nothing, just a shirt on his back, as they say. And he was very surprised because David, being the son-in-law of the king and being one of the generals of the king's army, should have been with some type of group of soldiers. And David explains, with not telling the truth, that he has been on a secret message, so secret that he can't even tell him where the other men are, and the other men didn't actually exist, right? But David says that he's very hungry and he'd like you to give him some food. 5 loaves of bread will do me nicely. So HaMelech is a bit hesitant because usually only Kohanim can eat the food from the Beit HaMikdash, and only when they're tahar, and he wants to give it to him, a Tameh, Yisrael, and that's really terrible avera. But David insists that he's very, very hungry, and that even if it was stuff that only a Kohen could eat, the truth is that why does he want the food? Because he's starving. He's going to die.
But he didn't know it was an avera to eat from that?
It is, but if you're going to die, you can do almost any avera, right?
Get food from someone else.
But there's nowhere else to get food from, I explained to you, Wesley, because, I mean, it could be he's been living off berries in the last few weeks, we don't know, but he can't ask support from anybody because possibly whoever supports him will be incriminated, right? In support of the king's enemy, right? So David doesn't want to get anyone into trouble, okay? So he has to make up a whole story, and this is the story he makes up.
He's talking.
No, he wasn't Tommy. No. The Kohen wanted to know. I didn't mean he was Tommy, right? So David said, well, first of all, me and my men were not Tommy, so you don't have to worry about that. But the truth is, even if you were giving us lechem upon him that was on the shulchan, even that would be able to eat because we're really, really that hungry that we could even eat food on Yom Kippur or eat chametz and Pesach or eat pork or anything we could eat because of our situation. And so HaMelech agrees, and HaMelech gives him 5 loaves of bread. It doesn't say how many he gave him. That's David asked for 5, so he gave him 5 loaves of lechem upon him, which had been removed from the shul.
This is also on Shabbos, right?
Yes, the way we read it was on Shabbos, which makes it even more surprising. But if you're on a secret message from the king, then Shabbos might go out the window, depending on what it is.
Could that possibly be why he wanted the bread to be able to do Shabbos?
I should.
He was on the run at this point.
He was on the run. Yes, he was on the run. It was an outlaw.
On the run, he decided to go to the Mishkan.
Well, he didn't go to the Mishkan. He wanted to go to the Mishkan because he wanted some food. He knew there would be food there, and there he could without having to what's the word? Possibly to incriminate anybody else. But he has to make up a story. If he tells the truth to HaMelech, then HaMelech will hand him over to the king, which would be the right thing to do, I suppose, because we all like David HaMelech because we read his Tehillim the whole time. But looking at the story at the time, clearly the right thing would be to support the king. Sure. If David says, "I'm running away from the king," so we'll say, "Okay, I'll call the police and they'll arrest you." Whatever. That would be the right thing to do. Okay, you and I can't judge a situation just because David says, "No, I'm innocent and it's really his fault." Yes, well, let the court decide that. Understand? So also, that's why David has to pretend to make up the whole story. Yeah.
Also, the Shaul's.
We'll get there. Okay. So then we said that at the time there was one of Shaul's servants there whose name was David, and he was the chief shepherd. It says, right? Which Chazal say you'll see later on other indications he wasn't just a shepherd, right? And not that I have anything against shepherds, right? But you'll see that he's really one of the inner circle of David's advisors. You'll see that from the next chapter. From Shaul's. And he just happened to be in the Mishkan, and he'd taken a sabbatical there to be steeped in Avodas Hashem. That's what he was doing there, but neither HaMelech nor David are concerned about the fact that he's there, because there's no reason why he should be reported or even if he's reported, there's no reason why anyone will be incriminated. Actually, anyone who was there who saw the story can see clearly that David told Achimelech that he was on a secret message from Shaul, and that's why he gave him. So therefore, there's nothing that can incriminate Achimelech. And
It's still dangerous for David.
well, it's not dangerous. David's dying in any case from starvation, so it's not dangerous.
Lie to someone else? Why did he have to lie to him and get that bird? He could have lied to a different person and said.
Would it be any better if he lied to somebody else?
Yeah, because then you like if you have an option to lie to eat bread that's not an avera to eat, it's less of an avera.
I hear what you're saying. Why did David not? Why didn't David just go to somebody else and ask them for food? Why didn't David go to somebody else and make up the same story and say, the king sent me on a mission?
Why does he assume that the Kohen Gadol has a lower percentage chance of hearing about his current situation than anyone else?
I don't think so. No. What do you mean? No.
Just makes no
You
sense.
said originally that the reason he didn't is because those people, there's a chance that they might be aware of.
No, I didn't think that. I never thought the Kohen would be less likely to know. No, I didn't think that's the
It's
reason.
the same risk.
Yeah. So why didn't you just go to somebody
Very
else and you're asking a
questionable.
good question? Somebody else would be
Must
better.
have-
Somebody
must
else would
have
have
been
cornflakes, would have a regular loaf of bread. Why
Yeah.
go to the
He
Mishkan?
must have been hiding right there.
Unless the Mishkan just happened, it wasn't like the Mishkan was a town where all the Kohanim there ate this stuff, so it didn't make any difference who you went to, right? They would all be eating korbanos or lechem mapanim or toida or whatever they were eating, right? In all likelihood, the nearest town may have been a long way from there.
Why didn't he?
and I
Why
guess
didn't he
it's
stop before?
What?
Why didn't he stop in a different town? Must have been hiding near.
Well,
Shmuel.
I don't.
He must
I don't.
be-
I don't know.
If you're starving,
I don't know.
if
There's
you're
two
starving,
things-
you've been hungry for a
I
while.
don't know. There's too much that I don't know about the story. How far was the nearest town? What was David doing in between? I don't know. Okay. So, Vayomer David l'Achimelech. Let's count the story. Pasuk Tes. David said to Achimelech, "Ve'in." Now, that's a word that doesn't really mean anything in Hebrew. Ve'in,
What?
right? 64.
And not. No.
Ve'in, no, ve'ain. Ain is not.
And yes.
But that's in Aramaic. Yes, correct. In Aramaic, in the Gemara, in means yes. But they didn't speak Aramaic in David HaMelech's time. I mean, they did in Aramean, but not in Eretz Yisrael. It probably is like the word im,
It's like Indian.
If.
like im,
If.
right?
If-
Now, we often change nuns with mems, right? For example, Nusach Ashkenaz, Nusach Sfard. I mean, Hasidic Nusach Sfard, right? I don't know what the Sfardim do. Maritzinu, Makdishinu, Mamlichin, right? Before in
Yeah.
those prophets. So Nusach Sfard says with a nun, Nusach Ashkenaz says with a mem. But I don't know. It probably means im. Although im doesn't usually have a yud in it, but still. Im yesh po tachas yodcha. If there is, yesh means there is. Po, here. Tachas yodcha, under your hand, means in your control. Chanit oicherev. Chanit means a spear. Oicherev or a sword. Means David come, not only has he come with no food, he also come with no weapons. Because he had to run. If you remember, he climbed down the rope and he had. No, sorry, so that was a previous story. No, this is he was in the field, right? He came. I don't know why. I don't know why. He had no weapons with him, and he'd like to be armed. That would be nice, okay? But maybe you've got something here in the Mishkan to give him. Why should there be a weapon in the Mishkan? Mishkan doesn't place weapons, but it just might be. And yes, they have knives there, right, for slaughtering, but that's not a sword. He didn't ask for a knife.
He doesn't necessarily need to get it right there. If there's a whole town of Kohanim, maybe one.
Maybe. All right. So, a cherev or a sword. So now he's got to explain. David, you're a general of an army. Why don't you have a sword?
He was already a general, though, right?
Oh yes, one of the major generals.
He only just became a fugitive. Right before
Yes, just now, just at the beginning of this chapter, he starts to run away because now he realizes that Shaul wants to kill him, and there's no doubt about it. And his friend Jonathan also agrees, and so he's got to run. And he runs without food and without weapons. So he's going to explain. But make up another lie. This is what happens when you lie, to keep lying to back up the story. Ki gam charbi, ki, because gam, also charbi, my sword, the gam kelai, and my other vessels, utensils, which he would have had, lo lakachti biyadi, I didn't take in my hand. Why not? Ki haya devar HaMelech nechutz. Because the matter of the king was urgent. Nechutz is urgent. Like lachutz means pressured. It's probably the same word. Nechutz, it was very urgent. So I had to leave on the spot. The king, you've got to go now. But now, it's true I had to go now and didn't have a chance to get my sword, but now I need one. So if you've got one, it will come in very easy.
The story doesn't make any sense.
What?
Yeah.
He's at the palace. The king says, "Go urgently."
I don't know where he met the king. He met the king in the shuk. I don't know. He met him in shuk, right? And
Well, if you're a commander in the army, shouldn't you be wearing your sword at all times?
the whole time. The whole time. No, you did. When you're on duty.
Well, if you're a police officer, you have your gun on you all the time.
That's different.
And only when you're on duty. No, you go to shuk, right?
Reservist
David's learning.
Yeah,
Dafayomi, right? So if your soldiers on duty carry their guns, but
Yeah, but you don't think the king would have anyone near him that has an extra sword to give
no,
him?
they didn't have. Okay, it's a bit fishy. What can you do, God? It's a bit fishy story. I met him in the mikveh, right? And so, David, I just needed you. I was just over there. Please go now. Okay, so David quickly puts his trousers on and runs out. Anyway, it's a bit strange, which is, I think, why there's a samach here. Samach indicates there's a paragraph. Now, usually you don't have paragraphs between people speaking. When I ask you a question, you answer me, right? It's not a new paragraph. It looks like that Achimaatz has to think about this. Like, it's becoming more and more suspicious, this story. There was more and more strange details, right? The 5 guys who you say are with you are somewhere in a hidden place that you can't tell because it's a big secret, top secret. You can't even tell the Kohen Gadol. Understand? The Kohen Gadol is meant to be them. You can't trust the Kohen Gadol? Okay. And it was so urgent, you didn't take any food. It was so urgent, you didn't take any weapons, and it's like a bit.
Who says that he was a Kohen Gadol?
He says the Kohen, right? I think it's clear that from the story it was the Kohen Gadol. Okay, so Vayomer HaKohen. So he said, but eventually he says, okay, good. I've got to give him benefit of the doubt.
Nechutz was quickly.
Nachutz means urgent. Okay, Vayomer HaKohen. Cherev Goliath HaPelishti, the sword of Goliath the Philistine. Ashehi Kisa, that you struck, you yourself, you hit that guy. You didn't hit him with a sword, you hit him with a stone. But then you took his sword and you struck him be'emek ha'ela, in the valley of Elah, that was in the place where it took place. Hine, behold, it is luta. Luta is a difficult word, it means wrapped up, basimla, in a piece of material. Similar can mean a skirt or a garment, but it means in a piece of material. It's wrapped up in a piece of material. Wrapped up, I suppose, to look after it, shouldn't get rusty, whatever, nor it was made of, right? And it was kept in the Mishkan. Now, we never mentioned it was kept in the Mishkan. In the story, it says that David took it to his tent and brought it to Yerushalayim.
Yeah.
And we said at the time, it doesn't mean he brought it to Yerushalayim then. Yerushalayim was not the capital or even an central city. That would have taken it home. It means eventually it ended up in Yerushalayim. So it could be that just like it eventually ended up in Yerushalayim, but in the meantime, it was kept in the Mishkan. Could be. That's what it says here.
He brought the head 7 years later. It said he also brought his head. He was.
Oh, he brought the head to his tent. It doesn't say he brought the head to Yerushalayim, did it?
Doesn't?
I don't think so.
It's not that bad.
Did it bring the vessels? I mean, his helmet.
Let's see. Yes.
Well, wouldn't the sword of the lid be massive?
Yeah. Was it big? Look, Goliath wasn't 100 feet tall. He was 9 feet tall. So his sword was a bit longer than the usual one. Just like he's a bit tall. It wasn't,
30%.
Let's see what happened. David wasn't a little teenager, he was also a big guy.
I think he only training with that sword.
And where are we looking? What are we looking for? Where he took to Yerushalayim.
He brought the head.
Right, he brought the head, so it's over here somewhere. Here we go.
He brought the head, but yeah.
Vayikach David es Rosh HaPlishta b'yer Yerushalayim.
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't say he took the sword to Yerushalayim. It says he took the head to Yerushalayim, and his weapons, his utensils, he put in his tent. Maybe his tent means God's tent. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, it says here that somehow or other this sword ended up in the Mishkan. What was it doing there?
I think that makes sense. His tent, meaning.
Yeah.
That's drush, that's not pshat.
Okay.
You can say it if you want, but it's not acceptable in this Shiur. But Hashem's not mentioned in the puzzle. Okay, so it ended up in the Mishkan, okay? All right, and it's what? Wrapped up in a piece of material. It doesn't say why, I guess to look after it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's it doing in the Mishkan? What's the point of it being in the Mishkan? Is it a way to look after it, to put it on show. Be a nice place. Everyone comes to the Mishkan to see this great miracle that happened.
Shows the power of Hashem.
Yeah, it would be nice. But then it says, look at it, it says, Acharei ha'ephod. Now, literally, that means behind the ephod. The ephod was the apron. No, the ephod was the apron that the Kohen wore. Kohen Gadol wore.
He was wearing it?
Just a minute. Can't mean that the Kohen Gadol was wearing the ephod and the sword he was wearing that as well, because Kohen Gadol not allowed to wear something else, right? Kohen Gadol allowed to wear 8 things. He's not allowed to wear 9 things. He's not allowed to wear a sword at the same time. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean it was. So what does it mean? It means the ephod was in the cupboard somewhere, hanging up, and the sword was there, hidden behind that. That's literally what it means. That's the simple way to mean it. But it's a bit strange where they would keep the sword in the Mishkan and hide it in the cupboard.
Right.
But isn't Acharei before?
No, that's Lifnei. Acharei means after. So, yes, it means after, but that's also a bit difficult. It should say behind. It should say Achorei. Achorei means behind. Acharei means after. After the ephod, what does it mean? It was wrapped up in a garment after the ephod. So is that a fascinating pshat? Fascinating pshat. Which you'll see later on is clearly in the text, but I'll tell you now because you need to know it for the story, is it means that he asked the Urim V'Tumim whether to give the sword to David or not.
Mm-hmm.
The Urim V'Tumim was the breastplate, which was attached to the ephod. The ephod and the Urim V'Tumim went together. The Urim V'Tumim hang from, the ephod had straps and hang from here, there's a golden thing, they hang from it. So the ephod, we've had it beforehand, the David said, bring the ephod and we'll ask Hashem. It means bring the ephod with the Urim V'Tumim attached, and then we can ask Hashem. So it means after, he got a bit suspicious, Achimelech. Another detail, he keeps adding on more details to cover himself. Should have actually asked Hashem, is it okay to give this sword to David?
And how come he wasn't wearing the apron then?
Maybe he was. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. I'm answering that question as well. He was wearing, and after doesn't mean behind, it means after. Yeah. As consulting the ephod, then he gave it. Okay. He didn't lose it. That's a remez into it, but Pshat is very shvet. If that you will take for yourself, you want to take that, take that, fine, I have no problem with you taking that, I can take. Ki ein acheres zulasta, there's nothing else. Acheres means something else. Zulasta, besides it. There's no other weapons here you can take. The knives are not going to help you, right? You'll do someone an injury, you can kill someone with a knife, right? And we need them in the base of Mikdash. But this sword is just on display, so you can take that. Okay. David, in this place, there's nothing else besides that I can give you. David said, Ain't Kamaya, there's nothing like that. That's the great idea. Kamaya like it, there's nothing like that. Tenen Ali, give it to me. David Dow had a sword.
Is Doeg still here?
Looks like. That's the reason why. That's why Doeg was mentioned in the middle.
He's just not.
He's just watching the whole thing.
He's not aware that David's fugitive at the time?
Maybe he is.
Well, he may not be if he took us about it.
Well, I don't think he's okay with it, but what do you want him to do? Put up a fight? Then David will kill Doeg.
With what? He didn't have a weapon.
Shame, whatever. I think David will find a way to do it, right? No, Doeg's going to save his life, right? So he can't say, what do you need? I'm going to tell the peace on you, right?
Maybe he comes back after?
Maybe. Don't give the story away. That's fine. Hayakam David. David got up, so now he's got food, got 5 loaves of bread in one hand, he's got a sword in the other hand, and he's ready to go. Vayivrach, and he fled. It means he completed his fleeing, who on that day, Shaul, from the face of Shaul, and now he's got away from Shaul, but look where he went. Vayavai, and he came, El Achish, to Achish. Who's Achish? Melech Gat, the king of Gat. Now this is a very strange move. Gat is a Philistine town. Mm-hmm. It's where Goliath comes from, or where Goliath came from. Not anymore, he's dead now, right?
It's like northwest.
Where? No, it's on the coast, but in the Gaza Strip.
Oh,
it's like Kiryat Gat. Today it's a place called the Hebrew Jewish town called Kiryat Gat. It's not in Gaza, but it was in those days. Mm-hmm. In those days it was one of the Philistine towns called Gat, and Goliath came from there. So David understands he's got to leave Israel, or the land of Israel, because he's got Shaul's men, and Shaul's going to send looking for him. Shaul knows that he knows, and he knows that Shaul knows, and therefore there's no hiding game anymore, right? And therefore Shaul is eventually just going to arrest him, and the best place to hide is in Philistine area. So that's what he decides to do. But it's a bit silly though, because
Didn't
they hate us?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so let's see what it comes to.
And they're bringing
Specifically-
Zelensky.
Hey, that's why he thinks, here you go, you take it back.
It wasn't actually Philistine. It was just called Philistine, but it's really Israel.
Oh, yeah, meant to be, yeah. But,
So he knows he's in
control.
Israel, the Holy Land. He
Must
felt
help.
safe.
Okay, fine,
He
maybe.
felt like Hashem's going to protect
So
him.
he had
fine.
to go there then.
No.
Because it's some of the most beautiful places. The West Bank.
He went to go see the
The West Bank is gorgeous.
It's not the West Bank, it's in
I
Gaza.
know, I'm talking about nowadays.
No, so he's being sensible, right? He stays in Eretz Yisrael. Right, you're right. It's a bit strange place where exactly its status. Because, for example, when Yitzchak wants to leave Eretz, when there was a famine in Yitzchak's time,
He wasn't allowed to.
he wanted to leave, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, don't go down to Egypt, stay in Palestine. So on the one hand, you see from that Palestine is not called Chutz La'aretz. On the other hand, the famine was in the land of Canaan, but not in the land of Palestine, which is why he went to Palestine, right? But it's clearly...
Canaan, not in Israel. The whole thing is Israel. Canaan is Israel.
But it's
There
supposed
could
to
be a
be,
famine in like the south of Israel.
could be, but it's supposed to... It could be.
Yeah.
Right?
Israel,
It says in the Book of Yeshua that although the Philistines conquered it, and it wasn't part of the land of Canaan, so why is it part of the territory the Jews are supposed to conquer? They're supposed to conquer the land of Canaan. So it explains in the Book of Yeshua that it used to be part of the land of Canaan, and the Philistines conquered it. It wasn't always theirs. The Philistines conquered it, and therefore it's still got the status of Eretz Yisrael, even though it's a different country. Right? That's what it says in the Book of Yeshua. The word Pelishtim means invader in Hebrew. So they invaded it and they took it for themselves. So it looks like it's not part of it. So
only
you're right.
took the part of the coast. It's a very small area.
Yeah.
Also,
Just like Liechtenstein is very
It's the
small.
most-
Israel's very small as well compared to others.
Gaza's not that big compared to Israel. It's pretty big.
Okay. Everyone takes what they were sea traders. So they were Phoenicians.
It's,
So they didn't want the hills. They
It's
wanted
a
the coast.
strategic area.
Okay, anyway, that's the story. So that's where they live, and now David's going there. So on the one hand, he's leaving Eretz Yisrael. You see, Chazal consider him leaving Eretz Yisrael, even though, in a technical sense, maybe not the same thing, right? But he certainly left the area which was under Jewish control. Okay, and he came to Aish. Now, what's he going to do? He's going to make up a whole story, right? Otherwise, Aish is going to kill him, right? I mean, he killed Goliath. Vayoimru avdei Aish elav, and they said to him. It doesn't say what David said in his defense, right? He just appeared there and he said, "Here, I am." Right? He must have made up some story. The most logical story they made up is that he's fleeing from Shaul. Right? That he fell out with Shaul. Yeah, he was at one time one of Shaul's soldiers, and he killed Goliath, but he fell out with him, and that's why he's running away. Okay, that's the truth, right? And that's the only story he can tell. Will they accept that? Some of the questions. Let's see what they say. The servant Achish said to him, "Haloi zeh David Melech Haaretz." Isn't this David the king of the land?
How do they know that?
So yeah.
Oh, one second. Right. Yeah. It does. They don't mean to say they know that he's been anointed by Shmuel. No, that's not what they mean. That would be a very good question if that's what they meant. He's the king of the land, right?
This means most powerful.
He meant something like that, or it meant that he should be the king of the
So
land. If you don't remember that the agreement between David and Goliath was that whoever wins will rule the other side. Right.
That doesn't mean that
So
Goliath
therefore-
has been the king. Not the soldier himself,
No.
the king. They said they were going to
Well,
be
they're
enslaved
originally
to the side.
But that puts David in a very powerful position. So the land here doesn't mean the land of Israel. It means the Palestine. Or it could mean that David was very powerful and Melech just means something borrowed. Haloi lezeh ya'anu b'mecholot. Isn't it true that to this one, ya'anu, which really means they call out, sometimes means to answer, but here it means they call out. Bamacholot, in their dancing. Means that when the women sing songs, what do they say? Leimah, this is what they say. Hika Shaul ba'alofa. Shaul struck him in his thousands. But David, and David in his tens of thousands. Now, what exactly what those words precisely mean, you can debate what these meant. What do they mean? What? I don't know, like, use your imagination. How does anyone know what the Israeli Eurovision Song Contest entry is? Because people know it before it's on them. Because people know. You're asking a question as if 3,000 years ago there was no connection between one place and another, and there was no news, and there was no newspapers, and there was no WhatsApp. So therefore people knew nothing. Look, I don't know the answer to your question, but you see that's the answer to your questions. They knew. How do they know? They knew. Things move. People move, and they tell stories, and they sing songs. Okay. So this became news that people were saying this about David, which could be interpreted to mean that David was more successful than Shaul. At least Shaul saw it like that. We said at the time it could be that people didn't really mean that, and they said something you could read in two different ways, and they meant really that Shaul is better because Shaul fights amongst a level. Shaul managed to kill when he's only got the help of thousands and David needs tens of thousands. Or the rank that Shaul is on is only 1,000 people like that. There could be ways to read it positively in the light of Shaul, but Shaul didn't read it like that. And they didn't read it like that either. And they're saying that in a sense that David's more powerful than Shaul. That's why they're calling David the king of the land. And therefore, it's very hard to see how a man of so much power would be running away from Shaul. I mean, you and I know the story, right? Because Shaul sees him as so much power as being a threat, and Shaul knows he's going to lose the kingship. Therefore, that's why. But we all know that information. But it's hard to believe that David is anything but a. So what must be David doing? So
lying.
And therefore, what is he doing here?
Infiltration.
Trojan horse.
Right, something like that. That's what they accuse him of. It's some type of spy, and he's coming here to find out information, whatever it is, and that's why he's here. Okay. So clearly he's too powerful to think that Shaul is actually chasing him like he makes up. It doesn't actually say the whole story here, but I think you have to add that in to make it make sense. Done. David put these things in his heart. I mean, he took it to heart, what they were saying. He heard the conversation, and he realizes that his ploy to as a safe haven over here, this story he made up is not going to help him. So what does he do? So he was very what? Scared. Mipnei Aish melech Gas, because of Aish the king of Gas. Although originally he thought it was a good idea, when he realizes that they're not buying his idea, he's got to change his tactic.
Which word is scared?
Yira. Yira means fear.
Yeah.
Fear, scared. So he's got to do something. So the apostle says, "Vayeshano es ta'amo be'eineihem." Okay, so there's a few difficult words there. Yesh leshanot.
Shana haba.
So the word shana means a year. The word shnei means two. The word mishnah means to learn. Mishnah is, right? To do a shinoi means to
In a way.
Unusual.
So here it means it's from the related to the word shinoi, which means to make it different. It means he changed his plan. Vayeshano es ta'amo. So he changed, like when you do something in a changed way. So it's like the word shinoi, right? Which is probably the same word as sheni, which means two, which means there's the first way to do something and the second way to do something, which is not the normal, right? And the word shana, meaning a year, is probably related as well, because shana just means a cycle that repeats. Right? Not like the moon gets bigger and smaller, right? There's a yearly cycle, as the sun goes round and round and round, right? I mean, it goes up and down the sky, but the sun always stays the same size, right? So it's just a cycle that goes round and round and round. And a Mishnah means the same thing as well, because it's something you have to keep it off by heart. You revise it again and again. So it's probably all related to the same thing, but I'm not sure. Anyway, here it means to change. What did he change? Ta'amo. Ta'amo means?
Plan.
Right, so ta'am means taste. So it's a bit of a funny word.
His
So his strategy, but it's a bit of a funny word, ta'amo. We'll see in a second. Be'eineihem, in their eyes. So he changed his plan. Some say it means that he, as you'll see in a second, that l'shanot et ta'amo means to act as if he'd gone insane.
Yeah,
that means,
I've heard this.
right? A ta'am means you've got reason. What's the reason, right? So you say matam, right? So it means he changed reason, means he lost his reason. Instead of being a reasonable person, he changed his reason. It says, Vayisholel. Vayisholel means to, it's not the word halel, to praise.
Yes.
It means to holalut, which means like frivolous. It means when you're drunk. Biyadam, in their hands, means whilst in their control, he acted really silly. He acted as if he was crazy.
Immediately after acting normal.
Yes. He just went into a crazy mood. Vayesov, now he wanted to back up his craziness, right? So Vayesov now a tav, although a tav means, it's one of the letters of the aleph base, right? Also means like a peg. Here it means to draw lines. It means to scribble. He drew graffiti.
Yes.
Vayesov al dal sois hashar. He started to scribble graffiti on the gates of the gateway. Where did he get a pen from? I don't know, right? But, maybe he took out his sword and started to scribble. I was here. David is the best. Whatever. I don't want people to write. Okay? I don't think he wrote David is king. That would be silly, right? But actually, Chazal say he wrote, Aish owes me $10 million.
Yeah.
Something like that. 10,000 dinar, whatever. He wrote.
Akish.
Aish is the name of the king. He started to scribble on the walls that Aish owes me money, which he did. I don't know, something really stupid, I suppose.
Okay.
And then, in addition to that, what do you do? By Yored Riro, that means his phlegm dribbled Elzakana onto his beard. So he started to dribble, right? Saliva was dribbling on his beard, and he was dancing as if he was crazy, writing graffiti on the walls. And what's the point?
So they don't think he's a spy.
Or this is obviously not, but still, it's still David, isn't it? I thought that their plan was that they should think, obviously it's not the right same person. Obviously the David that we know, it's not, it just look, maybe it's his twin brother or some, it looks like somebody very similar. He didn't walk around with an ID, right? You just look, this is David. David is a sweet singer, he's the commander of the troops of Shaul, he's Shaul's son-in-law, he's not crazy, this is a crazy Meshugana from the mental home, right? It's obviously not David. It doesn't say exactly why.
It's also interesting because they didn't mention what he initially said to them. That would be pretty important.
Aish said to his servants, Hine, behold, Tiru, see, Ish Mishtageya. Mishtageya? Crazy. This is crazy man. So the word Meshuga, right? The Tov is just reflexive. And the Tov gets put in the middle, like we've seen before. Lama taviyu Israelai. Why do you bring him to me? Take this guy out. This guy's crazy. This is not David. I think that's what you're saying. Chasar Meshuga imani. Am I lacking in crazy people? Now, Chazal say, well, what do you mean? Yes. Well, what?
He has a lot of crazy people.
Yes, Chazal say his wife and his daughter were both crazy. And they used to go around the palace pulling their hair out, screaming at the top of their lungs and says, I've got enough crazy people here, take this one out. Chasam Meshuga imani, am I lacking in crazy people? Ki heivese mezeh, that you brought this one, lehishtageya alai, to be crazy near me? Hazeh yavoy al beisi, will this guy come into my house? So throw him out. Okay, so they threw him out, and David's there, happy that he saved his life. He was hoping to stay in under Achash, but this is not a plan. Okay, so where's he going to go now? So Philistine area is not safe because he realizes that they don't like him because he's killed Goliath. There's actually a medrash, I think it says that these two servants who came to Achish to complain were Goliath's brothers, and they wanted to have David killed.
He did have the sword.
Yeah, I don't know where that was hiding is a question. I don't know. Yes, that would have been bit. I don't know. I don't know what he did with his sword. Maybe he hid it somewhere. Okay, chapter 22. Vayelech David misham. David went from there. Vayimaleit, and he fled el Ma'aras Adullam. Ma'ara means, you know what Ma'ara is? Come on, those who know Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Ma'ara is a cave. A cave.
Oh.
He went and hid in a cave. That was the best place there. He would live there, no one would know. He'd go out at night and hunt things, and he'd food, whatever. He'd find water by a brook. He'd stay there, and but going to Pelishtim area is not a safe thing. So some claim that they know where this cave is. I don't know. There is a place near Beit Shemesh called Adulam, and there's a big cave there that they say is connected. I don't know if anybody knows. Okay. But Yishmu
the
Echav.
one with the stalactites? Or is that...
There are lots of caves there. No, there are lots of caves, lots of stalagmite caves. That's another one, but that's only recently been discovered. But Yishmu Echav and his brothers heard. Chol Beis Aviv and all his father's household, means all his family, his uncles and his aunties. Yerdu a love Shama, and they came down to him there.
How do they know
Now,
he was
they heard. Heard it.
there? So that might have been Shaul here.
Maybe he did. So the next step you'll see. Yeah. Says in a few psukim. Right? Okay. So they all heard. And why did they come to him? Instead to say hello? To bring him chocolates?
Team up.
To team up? Why? What, they got something against Shaul?
Well,
He's
he's
got
that
something
brother.
for David.
What do you say? He's their brother, so what?
They help him.
They want to help him. Okay. Maybe. All his family turned up there, his brothers and his parents as well, as you'll see. But his kaptzuelov, and they gathered around him like a kibbutz. Right? Kibbutz is a place where people are there together, all together, equals. So his kaptzuelov, so they got together around him. Kol ish matzok. Matzok means in distress. Anyone who was in distress,
Not just his family.
not just his family, no. His family came, but also other people, fugitives, for example, people who felt offended by the law. They felt they'd been unfairly treated, and there's nothing they could do because the courts couldn't prove the case or something like that. Or they were on trial for something that they felt in outlaws. So like I said, it was like Robin Hood, right?
Yeah.
That anyone who felt that they had a claim, they became outlaws, and they joined him. They joined his band. But his kaptzuelov kol ish matzok, any man who was in distress, who was not being helped. V'chol ish asher lo noshe, any man who had a plaintiff against him. Noshe is someone who's down your neck for the money you owe him, and you can't afford it.
Shaul.
What?
Against Shaul.
No,
someone else.
anyone who felt that he owed money to someone and couldn't pay it, and the guy kept every Monday and Thursday knocking on his doors, where do you think I'm going to take you to court?
Yeah.
So this was a way to run away from the law.
Yeah.
So David was an outlaw, and all the outlaws joined him. V'chol ish mar nefesh, and any person who had a bitter soul, again, we're not going into details, but had been unfairly treated. He alehem lesar, and he became over them a officer. Means he was in charge of this group. Vayiyu imai, and there was with him ke'arba meis ish, approximately 400 people. They can't hide 400 people. Yeah, they got all they could all be in a cave, but they've got to get food, and you can't just So that's why. Yeah, but okay, what does he do? So he's going to move off. He can't stay in this cave because his whereabouts are going to be discovered. Yelech David Misham. So he went from there, Mitzpeh Moav, to a place called the lookout. Mitzpeh is a lookout. I've done this with many times. Har Hatzofim, which is where my granddaughter is in hospital. Right, here's Mount Scopus. Scopus means to look. So this is a lookout of Moab. It's not a lookout in Israel where you see Moab, because you can see from the story it's actually in Moab. It looks like it's a place called Mitzpeh in Moab. He went there. Why? Again, he's going to Chutz La'aretz. Right? He first tried to go to Pelishtim, that didn't help him. So he's gone to Moab. Why Moab? Moab was probably more nice to him because,
His
right? His great grandmother was a Moabite. So there's some connection to Moab. Right? Rus was his great grandmother, and she was a Moabite princess. Okay? So that's why he's gone there. Possibly. So he said to the king of Moab, it doesn't say what his story is. Maybe he made up the story, but here they would believe him because they've got nothing against him. Right? There, you could believe David's running away from Shaul, right? So he's really, you should give he's a threat. David's really entitled to your throne. But here, Moab doesn't feel any threat from David. So what did he say? Let my father and mother go out, meaning let them be free to walk around here, itchem with you, because they're more safe here than they are in the land of Israel, because I don't know what Shaul's going to do to them. That's what it looks like. His parents were concerned about what Shaul might do in order to, if you don't come out of hiding, then I'll do something to your parents. I don't know, it doesn't say, but he looks like he's scared of what might happen.
Itchem.
Itchem, with you. So I'd like my parent, my father, and my mother to go out with you, meaning to be free to move around here. Ad asher, until I will know. Asher, that. Until that I will know, means until the time that I will know, Ma ya'as li Elokim, what God does with me. Means I don't know how things are going to work out. Maybe Shaul will drop dead, maybe Shaul will change his mind, maybe we'll make peace, I don't know. But until then, I'd like to leave my parents here under your jurisdiction. Yanchem es penei melech Moav. So he led them. Yanchem means he led them. The root is nacha, which means to lead. Yanchem, he led them, es penei melech, in front of the king. So first of all,
Parents are all 400.
What?
Just the parents or all 400?
No, dead.
Okay.
No, it looks like... No, I don't think so. I think just his parents.
Okay.
Or his family, maybe.
Okay.
And they stayed with him, Kol Yemei, all the time. David the daughter was in the fortress. Now, also, this fortress has not been mentioned, right? But he was in some fortress. That's probably in Mitzpeh Moab. But a fortress wasn't an ideal place for his parents to live. Right, fortress is for soldiers. Right, his parents were probably old people, right, probably in the 60s, 70s, and therefore he took them to the palace and said, "Can they stay here whilst I'm in the fortress?" And the king agreed. So long as David was in the fortress, his parents stayed there. Okay.
One pasuk between two psalms.
Why is it two psalms? Oh, I don't know. Good. Vayomer God HaNavi el David. Now we have a prophet called God. I don't think we've ever heard of him before in the story, but you know him because we say him in Tachanun. These Ashkenazim do. David says to God. That God doesn't mean capital G. Well, it is a capital, but with a dash. Right? His name is G-A-D. Gad. Right? But in Ashkenazi pronunciation, it's God because it's comments. Right? So God is the name of a prophet.
In what?
And he's a prophet, so he knows where David is. And he searches David out. He goes from home and he comes to David with a message. Okay, God HaNavi, God the prophet says, El David, Loi teishev b'mitzuda. Don't stay in the fortress. This is not a place for you to be. Why? Doesn't say why. It's not safe here. It doesn't say. Just don't stay here. God doesn't want to. Presumably it means in the name of God. God, this is not a good place. Why not?
You have to go fight Shaul.
He's got to fight Shaul. Why should he fight Shaul?
Oh, because he's the king. He has to become king. He can't be hiding.
He has to go fight Shaul. He doesn't have to know. There's no mitzvah to become king. When Shaul dies, he'll become the next king. He doesn't have no one commanded. He's commanded to take over. Lech, go, uvasal lecha, and go for yourself. Come for yourself. Eretz Yehuda, to the land of Yehuda. Go to the land of Yehuda. If you want to hide out from Shaul, that's the best place. To me, it seems like he's telling him going to Chutz La'aretz is not a solution. That's not. When you're scared, right? As Yisrael said before, when you're scared, Eretz Yisrael is the safest place to be. And what's going to happen to you is going to happen to you in any case, right? But going to Chutz La'aretz just makes it more dangerous, right? So David goes first to Pelishtim. So we can debate exactly the status of Pelishtim, right? But what he's doing instead is going to Moab. That's certainly not a solution. And therefore he says, go back to Eretz Yisrael, then you work it out. Right, but that's the place to be. That's what I think. For example, the beginning of the story of Ruth, we have a guy called Avimelech. He's very wealthy, and there's a famine in the land of Israel. Where does he go? To Chutz La'aretz. As well, there Chazal very critical. That's not the solution. If it's Sakonas Nefashos, maybe that's the only thing to do. Right? Depends how dangerous it is. But Shaul can get you in Moab as well, as he can get you in. It's not a solution. So therefore, that's what he tells them. Okay, so you should come to the land of Yehuda and you work out there. David. Now it looks like that then he's going to take his parents with him as well, because it says his parents were with the king of Moab, so long as David was in the Mitzuda. Now he's left the Mitzuda, so presumably his parents are going to have to leave too, but it doesn't talk about his parents. David, and David went, and he came Ya'ar Chores, to the forest of Chores. So this looks like a new solution. He can't hide in the cave because he's got 400 men with him. You can't hide in Pelishtim because they want to kill him. You can't hide in Moab because that's Chutz La'aretz, right? So what does he do? He goes to the forest. The forest is a good place to hide. Okay? You hide up the trees, behind the trees. I don't know. Okay. Vayishma Shaul. And Shaul heard. right? You can't hide 400 men like we said before. So Shaul eventually found
So
out.
400 people are going with him to Moab and back.
I guess so. That's what it looks like. You'll see later on in the whole story, he's always got these 400 men. Eventually become 600, but most of the time they're 400. Vayishma Shaul ki noida David. Shaul heard, most Mefarshim means that David was found. Noida means the word ladat. Means people knew where David was, and Shaul heard that there were other people who knew. He didn't have first-hand information, but he heard that other people knew where David was. Vayishma Shaul ki noida David v'anoshim, and the men Asher Ito that were with him, and Shaul decides he's going to do something about this. V'Shaul Yoshev Bagiva. Shaul is sitting on the hill. It's usually called Givat Shaul, not the Givat Shaul that you know of, which is near Haranaf. No, that's a different Shaul. But the place where Shaul lived was also known as Givat Shaul. Tachas ha'eshel, underneath a shell, which is the name of a tree, it's a type of tree. You know, Avraham Avinu planted an shell in Beersheba. In English, it's called a terebinth. Does it mean anything to you? No. So what's the point of translating it? It's an Aish, it's the name of a tree. It's called in English a terebinth. It's a very big tree. He was sitting under this tree. Barama in Ramah. Now Chazal have a major problem with this because Ramah, we know where Ramah is, and we know where Givat Shaul is, and they're not in the same place. Right? Geva, Ramah is near where I live, Ramot. Right? Geva is probably about 30 kilometers from it. And yet it says that Shaul is in Ramah and in Giva. So it's a bit of a problem. How can you be both at the same time?
How big's the army?
It's unlikely. No, he's just sitting there with his inner circle. It's a bit major problem. Chazal's, as far as I know, their solution is a drash, that it means who lived in Ramah? Shmuel. Right from the beginning of the book, he lived in a place called Ramah Sayim Tzofim, which means 2 hills which make up Ramah. Okay? And he lived there. And what it means is that Shaul's merit Shaul was alive in the merit of Shmuel's prayer. Shmuel the prophet, Shaul was a protege of Shmuel, and Shmuel was the one who gave him the spiritual energy to remain in king because he prayed for him. So it means Tachas ha'eshel b'Ramah, under the protection of the tree which was in Ramah. That's what Shaul gave him, his spiritual protection.
So then why wouldn't Shaul die at old age?
He's not that old yet.
I
What do you mean? Well, I understand what your question.
If he has the protection of Shmuel.
I mean, why didn't it continue forever?
Yeah.
Because Shmuel died. Shmuel died before Shaul. Yes. Until Shmuel died, Shaul was safe. That was so Tachas means under the jurisdiction, under the spiritual protection of the great tree in Ramah. That's right. Okay, let's just finish the pasuk. V'chanisai b'yadai, and his spear is in his hand, which is the way that this king, especially who's paranoid and whatever, is. It could be just the way the king stands. V'chol avadav, and all his servants nitzavim alav, are standing to attention around him. Okay, so we'll leave that for today. And we'll carry on tomorrow. You want to do one more pasuk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Shaul said to his servants, and Nitzavim alav, who were standing at attention around him, Shimuna b'nei Yemini, please hear. Shimu like Shema. Shimu, it's a command. No, please, or knock me now. B'nei Yemini, the sons of Benjamin. Right? The sons of Ben, because they were his tribe, so his closest advisor would have been Benjaminites, presumably.
Yeah.
Gam lekulchem yitein ben Yishai Sadois. Also, to all of you will the son of Yishai give fields, ukramim, and vineyards. Lekulchem, to all of you, Yasim, he will place sarei alofim, officers of thousands, sarei me'os, and officers of hundreds. Means what he's doing is he's accusing them of conspiring with David, and he's saying, "Oh, I know. David's promised to give you when he becomes king. When you support him, I'll give you this field, I'll give you this vineyard, and make you my officer." Right? Obviously, God has promised you because I know that you're not on my side. How do I know you're not on my side? Key. That's what he's saying. It's sort of a question. Did God promise to all of you fields and vineyards and make you officers in his army to all of you? Ki kishartem. Kishartem literally means to tie, but it means to conspire, to make a plot against. When you get knotted together, a whole group of people together, kulchem alai, all of you have plotted against me. How do I know? Ve'ein goyle es ozni, because no one revealed my ears. To reveal his ear means no one told me. Why did nobody tell me? What do you want to do? Because beni, when my son cut in Ben Yishai with the son of Yishai. Remember, Yonasan and David made a pact right from the beginning. Nobody told me.
How did he find out?
I suppose eventually he found out, right? You know, because don't forget that. No, I'll tell you how.
Nobody
because at the party, Jonathan's protecting David, and he gets really upset. And he shouted at him, and he goes off in answer. It's clear that they're best friends. So we thought that everybody knew this, right? But Shaul seems to claim that he didn't know. He's the king, right? It could be other people did know. I don't know. But he seems to have found out, and he's upset that nobody told him. Nobody told me, because you're all plotting against me, not just David. Also, you're all plotting against me. Well, that's why nobody told me that David had made this treaty with my son. Ve'en chole mikem alai, and none of you chole.
Went.
No, that's cholech with a hey. Chole is a what? Almost. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that the word bikul means to visit.
Sick.
Sick, right? Choleh means nobody became sick. None of you became sick for me. None of you. You know, like you say, you're worried sick.
Oh.
Right? It means you're worried sick means you're so worried you'd make yourself sick about somebody else. Right? A sick's a bad word. There's a word that English people use.
Nervous.
No, you say that when a person's ill. You say he's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't say to be sick. To be sick means to be ill for Americans, right? Yeah, but in English, it means to vomit.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that.
Yeah. For English people, it means
nauseous.
Nauseous, yeah. You say to sick. Okay, anyway, here it means to be ill. Nobody became ill over me. V'goyle es ozni, and reveal my ears.
Why didn't they?
That's what I'm saying. Well, the fact that nobody became sick over this, and nobody told me, right, is
Everyone
clearly...
else thinks that he's crazy.
Who's crazy?
Shaul.
No.
Paranoid.
I don't know what they're going to say. He's accusing them of conspiring against him.
Yeah.
Right. What he really wants to do is he wants to put them in a situation to be scared what's going to happen to them if they don't tell him any information they have. Right. I mean, if you accuse someone of hiding information, then if he's worried about what you said, he'll tell you anything he's got to say.
Yeah.
Right. Ki heikim bani es avdi, that my son established my servant alai upon me. My son, meaning Jonathan, established my servant as David upon me, and made him, established him to be the next king.
Heikom.
Heikim, to establish.
He's just assuming all of this?
Well, he from that whole conversation with Jonathan at the Rosh Chodesh party.
It wasn't that obvious.
He said very assumed it. Look what he said over there. He said to him, remember what he said to him?
This is after.
Yeah, on page 57, I think it is. No.
No, it's a little bit
there.
after. I think.
Yeah, that's 61.
You want to get up at the feast? Yeah, like Chapeh.
What is it?
61 Chapeh. The king sat on his throne. It's like right around there. Oh, but that was the first one. It really happened in the second feast. Where's David? Or yesterday, yeah. Unanswered.
He said that you're doing this to the embarrassment of your mother's nakedness.
Yeah.
So long as Ben Yishai is alive, your control won't be established.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, look, he's
specifically.
I didn't say, but I explained. He said that your treaty with David is at the embarrassment of your mother's nakedness. So I said that means he
thinks he's not a
right. He's not fit to be king. Right, and therefore he's prepared to support David to become the next king. And that's what he's saying over here. So why did nobody tell me, or we can make them still cover it, or reveal to me when my own son established my servant Le'orev as a trap, as a what's the word? Orev usually means an ambush. As an ambush. Ambush. It doesn't really mean an ambush over here. It means someone who's a competitor. As it is this day.
I don't get why he's saying. I understand that he's upset that nobody's like nervous about it, but why do they need to tell him? He explicitly said it himself in front of everyone. He didn't explicitly say it, but we're reading into it. He was accusing Yonasan of doing all of these things in front of everyone else that was at that meal, which I assume other officers were there as well. And now it was only family.
No, it could be other people there, but now he's upset that no one had told him beforehand.
Prior to that, so why is he getting upset now? Why didn't he say that then? Once he figures out at the meal that Yonasan's lying to him, he would look around and be like, none of you guys told me either.
But maybe he thought they didn't know as well.
So,
right.
Yeah,
So
but
why
does suddenly happened to?
But isn't it what you said? Like,
the
you
cows.
just,
I think he just wants to get information.
yeah, like you just start accusing someone like you did this, and then
I don't know.
like you're just putting pressure.
I guess. Oh, it comes back.
Yeah, this is a very sad story. Okay, we'll carry on tomorrow. We'll just simply call him now.
Have we finished the line?
Yeah, we finished it. The
Serve me la'arev kiyom hazeh.
on this day.
Like it is today. It means just like, that means no, it means you've turned him into a trap as he is today. Because that's how he feels that he's now trapped. By this threat.
What la'arev is trap.
And Orev with an aleph. Orev with an ayin means a raven. With an aleph it means an ambush. Something that will catch you.
Did I fall asleep, by the way, at all? Did I lose consciousness?
Yeah.
Your eyes
Yeah.
were closed, certainly.
I'm trying to, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to think about the point you made.
Which one?
About the status of Gaza.
It's Eretz Yisrael. It's been defiled, but it's Eretz Yisrael.
This
It's for sure. Eretz Yisrael.
is for sure. I'll tell you my problem. Later on, David flees again to Gaza.
So the other, no, north of Gaza.
And he says that
Just tell me that.
he complains to Shaul, because of you, I've got to run away from the inheritance of God.
Yerushalayim is not
He wasn't running away from Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim wasn't the place of God in those days. Nobody lived in Yerushalayim.
Mishka.
It's not what Chazal said. Chazal say you see from there that going to Chutz La'aretz is like serving Avodah Zarah.
Gaza is not Chutzlaretz.
I'm explaining to you my
So
problem.
it was the borders then. It was the.
I don't know. It could be that.
So that means going to Jordan is Chutzlaretz, and not even let Jordan just be part of the bigger Eretz Yisrael. Or going to Lebanon and Syria as going to Chutzlaretz, even though those used to be part of Eretz Yisrael.
I don't. I'm not jumping to any conclusions at all. You're very quick to jump to conclusions. I'm just making a point. I'm just making a point. I'm making the point that it looks like from there that the place that David went to is not, to a certain extent. Jordan for sure is that true. Jordan was once conquered by David HaMelech, but it certainly wasn't part of the area. Yeah, Moshe Rabbeinu conquered it in the.
Well,
It's not the part of the borders mentioned in Parshas Bahar or whatever it is.
Well,
The border is the Jordan.
everything outside
Well,
of the
Abraham
borders
Yarden.
are going to be Eretz Yisrael.
I'm saying that. That's another question.
Right,
But no, but you're asking a good point. Plishtim was meant to be right in the original borders of Eretz Yisrael, which Yeshua was commanded to conquer, include Plishtim. So what does it mean? David going there. Why is it going to Chutzpah? Maybe David intended to go somewhere else. But he was being shown that you're driving to go Chutzpah, and in the end he went to Plishtim. Or maybe the fact that Jews hadn't yet conquered it also made it different. It was, like you say, Yerushalayim was more special. Maybe the areas that Jews had conquered was more holy. It wasn't. Maybe the Shekhinah wasn't there. Oh, that could be. Like Eretz Yisrael was always a special place, but it didn't have the halachic status of the, for example, the Temple Mount, right? We didn't have the halachic status of its holiness before it became the temple.
How has the halachic status now?
That's a good question. I think it's something to do with the fact that Aryeh Kaplan talks about it in one of his books. He's got a book on Yerushalayim. He says it's because the Ark is buried inside the Temple Mount. That's where he gets his kedusha from. That's his idea. So it could be, as Klal Yisrael conquered Eretz Yisrael, that's when it got its technical kedusha and the hashras hashchina, and that's why today, where the kedusha is a remnant of the original kedusha given by Ezra when he reconquered it, the kedusha is the same. Don't know enough about it. What's this? Good? Reini Mekabel Eloi Mitzvahs Asay Shel after the should put it on Siddur. Supposed to be to the beginning of davening.
I had it on my horn, on the steering wheel of my car.
When you brought my bike.
Every time I was about to honk, I was like, oh. I had a real honking problem. I came to in Israel, it's so easy to honk in Israel. Just put it down and all that, and then I just thought about how much I loved it.
Maybe you can put on your water bottle.
This is good.
No, it says on my water.
Mayim Shel Abba.
Hey, what does it say? What's go like
Not
us?
to touch. Don't touch, it says.
Like us.
Oh.
It says
Mine,
Abba's water.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. Why did I have that? Because the doctor told me I have to drink a certain amount of water, so I needed to know how much I drank. So I didn't want to know what to take from it.
How many?
Now
bottles?
nobody lives at home anymore. It's just me and my wife.
How long have you been using this water bottle?
Yeah.
So,
I've traveled with a plastic bottle, like.
oh, I use it because this fits on my thing on the back.
Yeah.
How long have you used this bottle for?
I've had it around the house probably about 2 years.
Would you like us to get you a proper bike
No.
water bottle?
This works. 'Cause
It's great.
I had one of these traveling
use my bag
around
then.
countries for
Oh,
like 3 or 5 months.
You heard about microplastics?
I lost it at some point.
I'm not worried. Maybe you should do it.
I think I lost it. Yeah, I had a bottle like this, like traveling like 3 months.
I've got 3 of them in the cupboard. When I lose it,
They all
I'll trade
say-
for months.
Yeah.
No, they don't say it. I just know what it says.
What it means, I hereby accept upon myself the commandment to love your fellow like you love yourself.
That's what you said at the beginning of chapter.
Right.
It's nice.
Yisrael's putting it in a place where you have a big test in this.
Why?
That's what you do. Put it on your horn. Test in
I
that.
put it on the middle of the steering wheel. So every time I used to honk at everybody. So I'm like thinking about it, and then I still honk because I realize I'm honking for the best. I'm teaching them how to drive. I was just honk a little less obnoxiously. It'd be less like. I was just like 1 2 3.
That was
My car here.
You have a car here?
I had a car here before I came here.
that was like one of our.
Got rid of it?
Yeah, I live in Old City. It's not worth it.
Jared was.
Also, I was uninsured, and I was driving super illegally because I didn't have. I didn't officially have like my 3. I was already 3 years living here, so I wasn't really allowed to drive with my American license anymore. That's why I couldn't get insured because I didn't have a real license. But I had already owned the car, so I was like, yeah, I'll just go for it. Drove it for 2 months, and then sold it for a profit. It's great.
Car.
Mitsubishi Outlander.
Okay, my friends.
I'm gonna head out.
Kurim, okay.
Enjoy.
Get some sleep.
I came out today. Yeah, I have a bunch of things to do.
I mean, tonight.
Tonight, I'll try.
Early, not 3 in the morning.
I went to bed at 10 p.m. last night. I'm gonna do it again. We'll go for Nate's. I want to wake up for Nate's again. So nice.
You made,
What?
but you got to eat shit.
This morning?
When you,
I woke up at 5 though.
what time's next?
This is like
6:10.
5:30.
That's when it
5:30 you
starts.
start shachar or something.
Yeah, it's like 6:10ish.
Oh, wow.
First one answer.
Just one answer and then I hustled
What
and
was
I made it just in time for the late show.
Yeah, it goes earlier. Last week
Yeah,
it was
like
6:12.
6:35 to early.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
You go over what we did yesterday. Very